Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hello, everyone. It is Monday night at 8:30 and we are live. Let me know if you can hear my sound. Hopefully it's okay. Let me check it. I meant to check it on Facebook real quick. Make sure you can hear me before I go into a long spiel and you say, I can't hear what you're saying. Give me 1 second. Just want to make sure. All right, great. So, good evening, everyone. Tonight, we're going to talk about some of the money mistakes that women often make and how to avoid them. I know you're probably thinking, I don't make a lot of mistakes. Thank you, Sherelle. You're probably thinking, I don't make a lot of mistakes, but we are doing it unconsciously. So I have a bunch of them. I almost said 16 mistakes that we make because there's so many challenges that we put ourselves in as women financially. But we're just going to talk about a few of them tonight. And then I'll circle back and we'll talk about a few more because guess what? Rome wasn't built in a day. And we're not going to solve all our money challenges in one episode or in one habit change. We're just really going to take time because I don't want to overwhelm you and stress you out. But before we get started, our money affirmation for this week, are you ready? Our money affirmation for this week is I am in tuned into the flow of prosperity. I am in tuned into the flow of prosperity. That is our money affirmation for this week. I want you to say that to yourself when you think about it. I am in tune to the money, I'm in tune to the flow of prosperity. You got to be tuned into prosperity. And just, as a point of reference, I talk about money. That's what this whole YouTube is about. But prosperity, we have to start thinking about it in only dollars and cents. Prosperity is anything that's in your favor. Stuff going wrong at the job, but now it's going right. That's prosperity because guess what? Something less stressful. You were expecting to do something, you were expecting some type of bill or something coming up, and it changed dates, and now you have more time. Well, guess what? Now you have your money for a little bit longer. We just have to change our mind about money because that's one of the biggest things that we really, as women, we need to um, embrace our prosperity and our power that comes with being a woman. So I'm not going to belabor, I like to get to the point. So I'm going to get to the point. I'm going to name a couple and I'm going to drop some gems on each one of them. And then we're going to come back and probably do this again in a couple more weeks. But one of the reasons, and these are in no particular order, right? There's not a number one, there's not a number, 30. They're in no particular order, just in order that they came to mind as I was thinking about and preparing for having this conversation with you ladies tonight. So, hey, Jackie, the number one thing we do not negotiate our salary. We go and we busted our butts, getting the interview, getting the job, and we just accept the offer that they gave us. Who does that? We do. Women do. Well, we have to get into the mindset of asking for our worth. You went through the time and the effort, and you got the education, you got the skill set, you got the certifications and all that. And go and do some research and find out what you should be asking and ask for the high end. Don't ask for the low end because if you ask for the low end, they're going to give you the low end. But if you ask for the high end, now they're like, oh, she knows her worth. So they're going to they'll give you some negotiating room. And this differs from industry to industry. I know it's a little more challenging when maybe you've been in a company for a long time or an organization and you're going for a next level promotion and they have banding and grading. I'm in the DC area for the government. They have grading and different things like that. But it doesn't hurt to just ask. If you don't ask, it's always going to be a no. So give yourself a chance and just ask for more if you can. So that's one way that we are hurting ourselves financially. And one way we can overcome it. Ask for what we're worth. I know you're worth about $3 or $4 million if we do the math. Go back a couple videos and we talked about that. But the second one, delaying preparing for retirement. If you're lucky, you'll get to retire. And if you're smart, you'll be able to retire with money and not be dependent on the government. So some things you can do is to start putting together a financial plan. Stop putting off meeting with someone to talk about your finances and get things together. I was talking to someone the other day and they said, I'm going to get with you right after I get everything together. Well, what's the point in getting with me if you think you got it together? right? That's the mistake. We think we have to get it together, to get with a financial person. No, bring your hot mess or whatever it is, or almost mess, or a little bit, because what you might think is really out of control may be just a simple fix for us, because we have the experience, we have the knowledge, and we've seen more instances of it, right? And so stop trying to get it together. You need to plan for retirement now. And you may not see a way to plan and put money aside for retirement. I may be able to see it very obviously because it's not mine. I can see things from a different perspective. So that's number 2. Number 1, not negotiating your salary. Number 2, delaying saving for retirement. Because listen, when I do another video in the future about the statistics for women in retirement, you're going to be like, oh, snap, I got to get myself together. So number 3, not having an emergency fund. We end up using credit cards because we don't have an emergency fund. Oh, something came up. Need a new refrigerator if you're a homeowner. You need to fix the car. You need to, have some dental work that is not covered under your medical insurance. It's an emergency and you need that $1,500 or $2,000 or whatever it is. Not having that emergency fund is a big deal because it often is what leads to getting us into debt. Now, we're not going to talk about just retail use of credit cards for food, fashion, and fun. Those are 3 things we do not put on credit cards: food, fashion, and fun. We'll talk about that later. But not having an emergency fund is detrimental to our finances. If you're married or you have a significant other that you run a household with, the next mistake we make is we don't get involved in the finances. I'll let them handle it. I'll let my significant other handle the finances. I don't want to worry about that. That's math. It's just too much for me. Girl, you better get you a pencil and a piece of paper and a calculator and get involved, because you need to know how that money works, how it's moving, what you need to do. If for any reason you need to take over it, for whatever reason, there's lots of reasons that we have to step in and be involved in our financial situations when we're in committed relationships. But if you don't have a plan, you have no idea where to start, and it's an emergency when you have to get involved, you're going to be lost in the sauce, and you're going to be like, OMG, I should have got involved in this sooner. So don't say I didn't tell you, because I'm telling you today, get involved. The other one, we carry balances on our credit cards. I get it. We need to use them. Now, some of y'all are still using credit cards for food, fashion, and fun. Listen, we shouldn't be financing it because interest rates are crazy. I got a couple more videos planned that are going to talk to you about the detriment of the interest rates. But when we're carrying those balances on our credit cards, we are paying so much more on the money that we needed temporarily over the long term, right? And those balances are eating us alive. They're killing us. It's so detrimental. I have a whole video planned about it, but you need to just really think about carrying those balances. And if you need help, that's what I'm here for. Get in my inbox, get in my DM, jump on my calendar, whatever. I'm here to help you. This is totally a no judgment zone, because I probably done did way worse than you with way more money than you. And I know how to fix it because I learned the hard way. The other thing is not investing soon enough, not just for retirement, but just investing in general, planning for your future, for whatever your buckets of things you want to do in your life. We don't invest soon enough. We think, oh, we'll do it later. We should be investing as soon as we start earning a paycheck. If your first job was 14 or 15, depending on what state you live in, you should start investing. If you have, your parents should be educated to help you start investing early, whether it be getting into some low risk stocks, some bonds. With the kids who are under 18, there's different accounts that you can do, getting some S&P 500 stocks, just really getting involved. You don't have to go in and break the bank and go all the way risky, but getting involved in it and getting involved in the investment market and learning about it as slow or as fast as you can, because this is the way that we grow money. Now, this one probably ain't gonna be my friend after I say this, but we spend too much money. And we spend too much money because it's an emotional purchase. And a lot of our emotional purchases go something like this. I worked my butt off this last couple of weeks. They were kicking my butt at that job. They were getting on my nerves. That loud girl on the other side of the cube was getting on my nerves. I have earned the right to spend this money on whatever it is. My boss is riding me. My coworkers is riding me. I've met all these deadlines. I deserve to spend this $100 on whatever I want, or $200 or whatever it is. I have earned it. Well, guess what, sis? Your emotions are costing you your financial future. We should really work to making less emotional decisions and more rational decisions with our money. And I know that's very, very easily said, more easily said than done, because we're emotional creatures by nature. Ask the men, they'll say that all the time. Those women are so emotional. But the reality is, as human beings, we have emotions and we have feelings and we have thoughts, but we need a mindset shift when it comes to certain things. If we have goals and aspirations, we can't let our emotions sway us from that path. Now, will there be times where you're veered? Maybe keep it to 10%, not 80%. You know, we all are going to follow a path. No one's 100%. Well, some people are. Let's just keep it 100. But making the plan to do it. The other thing is, when you think about emotional spending, I want you to check this out on Netflix. It's called, I'm going to say it right, More Life with Living Less. I twisted it up, but it's the minimalist documentary that the two guys did. And it really talks about how much stuff we just have because we're surrounding ourselves with things to make us comfortable and to make us feel happy and to feel validated and to feel included and to just be. And guess what? It's not your fault. Every piece of marketing out there today is targeted towards every one of your insecure emotions. And every one of those ads are going to tell you that getting this thing is going to make you whole. It's false. What's going to make you whole is taking the time to deal with your ish on the back end and working with yourself through whatever you believe, whatever your spiritual path is, and getting in touch with you and your higher self and healing your inner child and healing those traumas and healing those things that hurt you. That's what's going to make you whole, not whatever the latest marketing person is selling you. And so be clear, you're targeted, I'm targeted. Every ad I see on Facebook, I feel like they know me. How did they know that about me? Well, because they're studying you, they're tracking you, they're watching your pings on your phone, they have the GPS tracking, they're watching the things you're posting about, they see what you liked and you tagged on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and wherever. They know everything about you because you told them. And so they're marketing to you. Everything is marketing to you, and it's marketing to your deficit. It's called deficit marketing. They're marketing to your lack. And every time they market to your lack, you buy something and you fill your house with it. And then you feel more stressed because you're surrounded by so much stuff, right? Long story, but it's called the minimalist. A life with more is less. I'll figure it out and I'll type it. I'll make it in the comments. But again, we borrow money that we can't afford to pay back. Let's try to live a little closer to our means. And the other thing is sometimes we have unrealistic expectations about money. Sometimes we think, let's say you got a windfall. Let's say you got $10,000 from wherever, right? You had a rich great uncle and he happened to name you in his trust and you didn't know because you didn't even know you had this great uncle and you got a check for $10,000 and you expect this $10,000 to change your life. Well, now, if you invest it and direct it and do some things with it to make it grow, it may help you. But the thing is sometimes we have to take money and put it away and forget we put it away and put it in a place where it's going to grow so that it'll be there for us later when we need it. Because we get these bonuses. If you get a bonus at your job or if you get a pay increase, I think they do 2.5% or 3% or whatever your company does as far as maybe annual increases. Start getting to a point where that money you didn't need it before, moving it into an account that's going to be beneficial to you in the future. But I'm not going to go too much long because I got 10 more things on the list, right? But the other thing is really start thinking about what you're spending money on. And I'll share this one. I put this one down. It says paying too much for cable TV and subscriptions. I'll talk about me. I realized around about 6 months ago in March, April this year, 2022, I was like, Why do I have cable? Because I realized I wasn't watching it. And when I realized I wasn't watching it, it's because I get up early in the morning, I go to the gym, I go to work. By the time I'm done working, I have some other stuff I'm doing. By the time I'm pretty much finished with my day, working, doing all my business, seeing clients, doing all the things that I do, it's 10, 11 o'clock at night. I'm not watching TV, but I'm paying for cable. So I said, well, let's just see. So I called the cable company. I said, I don't want cable no more. Turn it off. And they're like, what about internet? I want internet. I just want the internet. So I took everything off but the internet. I said, well, I'll just go for a couple of months and see if I miss it, if I need it. I haven't looked back since. But it's saving me like $100+ a month not having it when I wasn't even really using it. I had it because it was comfortable to have it, because everybody had it, because it was the thing. You had cable in your house. Why wouldn't you have cable in your house? Well, nowadays I don't need it. I have a couple of apps that I use, and I just watch whatever I'm going to watch on those, and I keep it moving. But I save myself 100 and something plus bucks a month that I am able to redirect towards my future instead of wasting it. And so you're like, oh, $100 a month isn't that much. But when you add it up annually, it's $1,200 for the year, $1,200 plus. And then when you start looking at other things that maybe aren't working to your advantage and you start shifting them, you realize, oh, if I look at this annually, this is more money to do different things. A lot of us also don't budget our well, the cutie said, I have no idea what's on TV. Look, don't get me wrong. The only thing I know that's on TV right now is House of the Dragon, because I catch that every Sunday and I won't miss that. But I'm not worried about it. I have friends who invite me over. I have the app. And when I'm done watching it, the app will get turned off because that's all I was watching, right? But the other thing is, we look at our budgets. How many of you, if you're in the chat, how many of you, you're looking at your budget based on every week, every 2 weeks, or every month, however you get paid? You're looking at it like that. But I'm going to challenge you to go in reverse. Think about how much you're making for the year. A lot of people, believe it or not, have no idea how much they make annually, because they're looking at, oh, I make $30 an hour, I make $45 an hour, I make $20 an hour, I make whatever it is. Well, you can quickly find out how much that is annually by typing how much is for $30 an hour annually. Just type it into Google or whatever your internet browser is, and it's going to tell you how much you make annually. And it'll even tell you, if you make this much annually, this is how much you're going to bring home. It's going to give you like a baseline of how much you're going to bring home after taxes. Now, it's not going to include things like deductibles and children and all the other stuff that we use, that all the other things we use in our taxes to reduce the amount we're paying. But it's going to give you a baseline of that 20% plus 6% for a state. Is going to give you a baseline of that 26 minus that 26% and tell you this is how much you're bringing home. So let's say the calculator says you made $100,000 a year. You didn't even realize you're making $100,000 a year because you're looking at it hourly, or you're looking at your paycheck. Well, when you look at it at the bigger picture and then walk into your budget and say, listen, I'm making $100,000 a year. After taxes, I'm making like 70. I'm bringing home like 74,000 after taxes. Well, how much of that do you want to invest and or put into savings or be strategic with? We always go in reverse. We pay all our bills and do all these other things, and then we're like, oh, now I have to invest. And you're tired, and now you feel like you deserve to treat yourself. Invest first. Put your money aside for yourself first. Do all those things first, so that by the time you get to those other ones and it's done, you're like, oh, I've taken care of myself first. I've paid for all these, all these necessities and unnecessaries or whatever, all the things that we have to do. But put that part first, because I'm here to tell you, and I see it, right? I see it on both sides, because I work with clients who are in their 30s and 40s, and I work with clients who are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. And when I talk to my 60s, when I get to my clients who are in their 70s and 80s, and they just don't have any money, it's hard to talk to them. And most of them are women. And so that's why I feel compelled to have this conversation, because we all think it won't be me. It won't be you if you plan. But if you're just out here willy-nilly trying to figure it out, it will be you. And you'll be like, oh, I'm married. It won't be me. Well, statistically, most husbands transition before us, unfortunately. It's not always the case, but statistically, they do. So then what? And then we live about another 5 to 10 years by ourselves. Who's going to take care of you if we don't put these things and put some financial tools in place right now? So the other thing, don't spend more than you earn. We spend way more than we earn. If you're making $100,000 a year and you spending $150,000 a year, maybe we should do something different. And then here's something that we saw a lot of during the pandemic: spending those tax refunds, spending those stimulus checks, and not finding a way to do something strategic and long term with at least half of it. When we have those windfalls, we should be thinking long term strategically with those funds. And if you have challenges doing that, that's what I'm here for. I have lots of colleagues. If you say, well, you know what, Saran, I know you since I was 10 years old. I don't know if I want to show you what's going on in my finances. That's cool. I got other people that'll talk to you, and they have a fiduciary responsibility not to tell me your business. But the thing is we want you to get these resources and get the help so that we can all win together, especially for our women in the melanated community, because we just fall behind financially, and we end up having to be supported by the local government, community charities, and family and friends who may or may not have the finances or the physical ability to do things for us. So that's my talk tonight. If you got questions, drop it in the chat. If you want to reach out to me, there's a couple ways to reach out to me. You can just go to Saran 10K. You can click on book an appointment and we can meet. You can drop a message in my DM or any one of my social media platforms that you're connected to. But get more information, get help. Don't be afraid to talk to someone. One of the things I always have my people do is I always have them read books. I give them the books that I've read, because I don't want you to think there's some secret that you can't get. But I want you to know that you do have resources. There are things that do require someone that's licensed to get done, but get them done. So, and I have a surprise. I have written a book. It is coming out soon. So give me another week. Someone's supposed to be finishing my cover page and the back and the spine. I noticed she's watching tonight, so hopefully she's finishing it. But the book is coming soon. My first mini book is coming out soon, and I'll be posting that online, and hopefully that will be helpful to our community. But be sure to like, share, subscribe. If you're watching the replay, put #replay in front of your comments. Be sure to join me on all social media platforms, because there's different content that I have going out on all the different platforms, just based on their algorithms and the way they require the information to be delivered. So, but come back again next week, and we will be talking about some more dirty money secrets. But again, these dirty money secrets are for you. And our manifestation money affirmation for this week is: I am tuned into the flow of prosperity. Until next week, I'll be back, same bat time, same bat channel. Peace, love, and hair grease. Bye.